In the not-so-distant future, Earth, once a jewel of natural beauty, had been transformed into a haunting testament to humanity's insatiable hunger for profit. Where once vibrant forests kissed the sky, now stood barren wastelands, stripped bare by the relentless march of industrial exploitation. The oceans, once teeming with life, now lay polluted and lifeless, choked by the unchecked discharge of toxic waste. And the once sprawling landscapes, which had inspired awe and wonder in generations past, were now scarred and ravaged by the relentless pursuit of wealth. At the heart of this devastation lay the industrial magnates, towering figures of wealth and power who held the reins of society firmly in their grasp. With coffers overflowing and greed unchecked, they had long since corrupted the corridors of power, bending laws and regulations to suit their insatiable appetites. Through a web of bribery and influence, they ensured that lawmakers danced to their tune, turning a blind eye to the ecological cataclysm unfolding before them. But amidst the chaos and despair, a brave few dared to raise their voices in protest. They spoke out against the wanton destruction of the planet, decrying the short-sightedness of those who placed profit above all else. Yet their cries fell upon deaf ears, drowned out by the deafening roar of propaganda churned out by the bought and paid for media, which served as nothing more than mouthpieces for the industrial elite. Amidst this maelstrom of corruption and despair, stood the scientists, guardians of truth in a world consumed by lies. With unwavering resolve, they sounded the alarm bells, warning of the impending catastrophe that awaited if humanity continued down its current path of destruction. They painted grim pictures of a future marred by extreme weather events, dwindling resources, and the mass extinction of countless species. But their pleas for reason and foresight fell upon deaf ears, drowned out by the cacophony of short-term profits and blissful ignorance that pervaded society. And so, as the world hurtled towards the brink of ecological collapse, the industrial juggernaut rolled on, unstoppable in its pursuit of profit at any cost. The once vibrant Earth, now a shadow of its former glory, stood as a stark reminder of humanity's folly, a testament to the consequences of unchecked greed and exploitation. Yet amidst the despair, a flicker of hope remained, a glimmer of possibility that perhaps, just perhaps, it was not too late to change course and steer humanity towards a brighter, more sustainable future. And so, as the prophesied tempest of climate catastrophe swept across the globe, humanity found itself ensnared in the merciless grip of nature's wrath. The once stable climate patterns shattered like fragile glass, replaced by a tumultuous symphony of destruction that left no corner of the earth untouched. Extreme weather events, born from the fevered breath of a planet pushed past its breaking point, unleashed their fury upon unsuspecting lands. Hurricanes of unprecedented ferocity tore through coastal cities, their howling winds laying waste to everything in their path. Torrential rains, fueled by the ever-warming oceans, inundated vast stretches of countryside, transforming once fertile plains into sodden wastelands of mud and despair. As the skies darkened with clouds heavy with the promise of devastation, ecosystems buckled beneath the onslaught. Ancient forests, guardians of biodiversity and bastions of life, succumbed to the relentless assault of wildfires sparked by soaring temperatures and prolonged droughts. Coral reefs, once vibrant underwater kingdoms teeming with color and life, withered and died beneath the scalding embrace of bleaching waters. Amidst the chaos and despair, governments scrambled to stem the tide of destruction, grasping desperately for solutions to a crisis of unparalleled magnitude. Hope flickered like a fragile candle in the darkness as plans to combat global warming were unveiled, promising a glimmer of salvation in the face of impending doom. But even as the populace dared to dream of a brighter future, the tendrils of greed and avarice crept insidiously into the corridors of power. The capitalists, ever opportunistic in their pursuit of profit, saw in the chaos an opportunity ripe for exploitation. With silver tongues and promises of prosperity, they seized upon the crisis to further line their already bulging pockets. Like vultures circling a wounded beast, they descended upon the masses, their slick propaganda and honeyed words luring the unsuspecting into their web of deceit. And so it was that the masses, blinded by visions of a utopian future among the stars, were manipulated into supporting grand schemes of interplanetary colonization. With promises of untold riches and boundless opportunities awaiting them in the depths of space, they eagerly threw their support behind the construction of colossal spacecraft, marvels of engineering destined to ferry humanity to distant worlds beyond the reaches of their dying home. But as the funds earmarked for Earth's salvation were diverted to fuel the engines of this grand exodus, a bitter irony hung heavy in the air. For even as humanity reached out towards the stars in search of a new beginning, they left behind a planet ravaged and scarred by their own hubris, a solemn testament to the folly of their greed and short-sightedness. And so, with the weight of history upon their shoulders and the bitter taste of regret lingering on their tongues, mankind took its first tentative steps into the unknown expanse of the cosmos. Leaving behind the desolate, scorched ruins of Earth, they embarked upon a voyage of hope and desperation, driven by the promise of greener pastures among the stars. But little did they know, as they gazed wistfully towards the distant horizons of Mars, Europa, and Titan, that they were but unwitting pawns in a game played by the masters of capitalism. Behind the facade of progress and exploration lurked the shadowy figures of greed and exploitation, pulling the strings of fate with callous indifference. As colonies blossomed upon the barren landscapes of these newfound worlds, so too did the machinery of exploitation rear its ugly head. Mining rigs, like monstrous behemoths of industry, scarred the once pristine surfaces, gouging deep wounds into the flesh of the planets in their relentless quest for profit. Meanwhile, factories, belching plumes of noxious smoke into the virgin atmospheres, cast a pall of pollution over the once clear skies, staining them with the mark of humanity's insatiable hunger. And amidst it all, the people toiled, their sweat and blood the fuel that powered the relentless machine of capitalism. Bound by chains forged from the promises of a better future, they labored ceaselessly, their dreams of freedom and prosperity nothing more than distant echoes in the cold, uncaring void of space. But as humanity adapted to life among the stars, so too did the old divisions and prejudices that had plagued them on Earth. The inhabitants of these newfound colonies, once united by the common dream of a brighter tomorrow, found themselves once more torn asunder by the petty grievances and age-old rivalries that lay dormant within their hearts. And as the rush to exploit the untapped riches of the asteroid belt ignited the smoldering embers of old hatreds, the flames of conflict spread like wildfire across the cosmos. No longer content to merely compete for resources, humanity found itself embroiled in a bitter struggle for power and control, a battle that would shape the destiny of the entire solar system. And as the conflict raged on, laying waste to entire worlds and leaving behind a trail of destruction in its wake, the puppet masters of Earth tightened their grip on the reins of power. For they saw in the chaos and carnage an opportunity not just for profit, but for something far greater, dominion over the entire solar system, and with it, the power to shape the fate of all who dwelled within its celestial embrace. As the conflict in the cosmos raged on, the toll of war weighed heavy upon the hearts and minds of all who called the stars their home. Amidst the chaos and destruction, hope flickered like a dying ember, struggling to endure in the face of overwhelming despair. In the shadow of looming battleships and the echoing cries of the fallen, humanity's once united front fractured into a myriad of factions, each vying for supremacy amidst the chaos of war. Old grudges and deep-seated rivalries resurfaced with a vengeance, driving a wedge between even the closest of allies and igniting flames of hatred that threatened to consume all in their path. Across the far-flung reaches of the solar system, colonies and outposts became battlegrounds, their once thriving communities reduced to little more than rubble and ash by the relentless onslaught of war. The skies themselves became choked with the detritus of conflict, as fleets of warships clashed amidst the cold void of space, each seeking to assert its dominance over the other. But amidst the carnage and destruction, a flicker of defiance burned bright within the hearts of a brave few. They refused to surrender to the darkness that threatened to engulf them, standing firm against the tide of violence and despair in a desperate bid to reclaim the promise of a brighter future. Yet even as they fought with all their might to stem the tide of destruction, they could not escape the grim reality that their once beautiful cosmos had become a battleground, a theater of war where the ambitions of a few threatened to consume the dreams of many. And so, as the conflict raged on, the fate of humanity hung in the balance, teetering on the brink of oblivion. For in the end, It would not be the mightiest fleet or the most powerful weapon that would determine the outcome of this war, but the resilience and determination of those who dared to hope for a better tomorrow amidst the chaos of the present. As the war in the cosmos dragged on, hope became a distant memory, replaced by the cold grip of despair that tightened its hold on the hearts of all who remained. The once glorious dreams of a new beginning among the stars had faded into obscurity, replaced by the harsh reality of a universe torn apart by greed and conflict. In the wake of countless battles and untold suffering, the fabric of society unraveled, giving way to a dystopian nightmare where the rule of law had long since been replaced by the law of the jungle. Those who had once fought side by side now turned against one another, driven by fear and desperation to do whatever it took to survive in a world where every breath was a struggle and every heartbeat a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the horizon. Amidst the ruins of once thriving colonies and shattered dreams, the puppet masters of Earth tightened their grip on power, their insatiable thirst for control driving them to ever greater heights of tyranny and oppression. With the promise of security and stability, they sought to quell dissent and crush any who dared to oppose their iron-fisted rule, ruling over their subjects with an iron fist that brooked no dissent and tolerated no opposition. And so it was that humanity, once the masters of their own destiny, became little more than pawns in a game played by those who cared nothing for the plight of the common man. The dreams of a better future were but distant echoes in a world consumed by darkness, a reminder of what could have been if only humanity had chosen a different path. As the years turned into decades, and the centuries slipped by like grains of sand through an hourglass, the once proud legacy of mankind faded into myth and legend, lost to the annals of time like tears in the rain. And as the last embers of hope flickered and died, the universe looked on in silent judgment, a testament to the folly of those who had dared to dream of a brighter tomorrow amidst the darkness of their present reality.